Alright, welcome back. Finally, rank 13. Let me tell you, the grind was real and painful, but it was worth it. So, it was time to take a look at the T-55A, which is a direct upgrade over the T-54. Now, the T-54 used to be the most overpowered and basically the strongest vehicle in the game for quite a while. Although the recent big update has changed some things, and now that tank is more in line. So let's see what the T-55A can do. But first, let's take a look at the characteristics. So it has a 100mm main gun. It goes 50 km per hour, reverse 8 km per hour, specific power is 16 horsepower per ton. It has 36 tons for crew member, penetration, average penetration 298mm, but this thing does have a shell that can penetrate up to 400mm, I believe. 10.5 seconds is the reload, 15 degrees per second is the rotation speed. It has decent frontal protection, although in high tier battles armor isn't really everything, because most of the vehicles will be able to penetrate the frontal armor. This is kind of a upgrade T-54, so the tank's performance will be about the same. Now I want to quickly show you all the different ammo types that this tank has. Now it still does have a PDS, which means that the start is not going to be that painful. Some of the other tanks that I used to play didn't have a PDS ammo, and a PDS is kind of the, I would say, minimum requirements, because a PDS has some very nice penetration. But let me quickly show you all the shell types that you get. So the 3BM-8 penetrates up to 300mm at 100 meters, and at half a kilometer 290mm. This is the APDS shell. It has high explosive, which is good against lively armored vehicles, SPAAs and things alike. It has a PCBC, which penetrates 240mm at 100 and penetrates 220mm at 500 meters, smallest angle of attack with 100% ricochet, 71 degree. It has HEATFS or heat TFS, which penetrates 390mm from any distance. And you also do get APFSDS, which penetrates 330mm at 100 meters and penetrates 310mm at half a kilometer. This is basically the dart shooter, as I like to call it, because the shell looks like a dart, and it's kind of scary actually when you think about how it works. But the HEATFS is basically the best shell on this vehicle. So, it will be time to see how the T-55A performs in combat. Okay, let's roll. The first map for today will be Japan. Somehow this map is literally my favorite one. I really enjoy it. Now, the T-55A does have a couple weak spots. Basically, you can overpressure the tank if you hit the top of the turret with a large high explosive shell. Basically, if you aim for the commander, you can easily overpressure this tank. It's actually easier to hit the commander on the T-55A than to hit the commander on the T-54, because the turret on this thing is kind of raised up a little bit, and that might be problematic in some cases, since again most of the shells within this tier can easily go through your armor. even your turret armor. With the T-62, the turret is very small. It's actually very difficult to hit the turret on that thing, but on the T-55A, it is a different story. The turret is a bit taller. Now the T-55 can easily run around. It is a very, well, not a very fast tank, but it is also not slow. It has enough speed to basically capture objectives and to go towards tactical positions. The APDS ammo is more than enough to penetrate most vehicles, although you have to aim. You have to aim a bit more accurately if you want to penetrate targets. You can't really just shoot anywhere, like with some of the other tanks in the previous tiers. You have to aim. Once you unlock the more lethal ammo, then aiming and shooting becomes much more easier. I personally really enjoyed the T-62. That thing was just amazing. You'll see that tank in action very soon after this video. But the T-55A is a very nice starter tank, but I still feel like the T-62 does seem like the tank that they want you to drive, because that thing is just wild. I really had a lot of fun with the T-62. However, it does. The T-55A, as you can see, still is capable to penetrate the enemy tanks. You just have to aim for the weak spot, basically, and that would be I mean, just aim for the weak spot, and yeah. In my case, I try to aim for the ammo. Sometimes I try to aim for the fuel tank. Although in most cases I try to aim for the ammo on most of the vehicles, because that's something that's, I mean, ammo detonation is something that most tanks can't survive, so I'm aiming for the ammo in most cases just because of that. Although there is also different ways how to disable a tank. Now have APDS and APC-BC. APDS against heavily armored targets at long distances. APC-BC can be used against lightly armored vehicles. If you don't like to use HE, then APC-BC is definitely a good alternative. It does some very good damage when it penetrates, and it's very good at disabling SPAAs and other lightly armored vehicles. It also is very good to disable the more heavily armored vehicles if you manage to hit the weak spot, of course, which I'm usually very good at. Although sometimes when you hit the weak spot, nothing happens. That's just you know how it goes. That's what the snail says, and that's how overall game in most cases does work. Now this little position is very good for this tank. I can keep the lower armor, which is more vulnerable, protected with the rocks. The only issue can occur when you get shot from the side or from the rear. The turret's side armor isn't really that protected, but sometimes it can bounce shells since the turret is round. Overall, it's not a flat surface, so shouldn't be worried about getting too many hits in the turret. And if you do get hit in the turret, then it's not going to kill the tank immediately, which may buy you some time to get to cover or even to repair the vehicle. Well, I am at 11 kills so far. This match has been pretty smooth. Well, 12 kills now. I didn't even notice that I was farming kills for this tank. Now, how does this tank compare to the Leopard's A1, well, the Leopard is definitely faster. Although I feel like this tank is already pretty good for its tier. In the end, it's the battle will most likely depend from the player's skill, so don't have to worry about having the inferior tank. I mean, the T-55A is definitely fun, and I picked it to be the first because I already had a lot of fun with the T-54. That thing is just amazing, still is. It's nerfed a little bit. It's not like the best tank anymore, but it still gets the job done. It's a very fun vehicle. So the T-55A is definitely a nice little upgrade over the T-54. Now the machine gun on this thing doesn't seem to be doing as much damage as the T-54 machine gun. Not really sure why. Usually with the T-54 I can just shred a object, but for some reason that didn't happen against that one. Maybe they changed the ammo. Maybe I'm using the different. Yeah, probably the fact that I'm using a different machine gun on this tank. But that was a very nice match. That was a very nice match and a very good score. Let's go to the next one. Now, on this map I like to go, well, I usually try to start from a sniping position so that I can get some good points early on, and then I move around. And this is a very good sniping position for the T-55A. It's basically a good sniping position for a lot of vehicles. Even the KV-2 can be placed in this position, and even the KV-2 can snipe in this game. So that sounds kind of funny to snipe with a huge short-barreled 152mm cannon, but it does work. And usually, if nothing comes, I'll just probably go towards the middle and continue from there. Usually one of the ways how I start a match, or in some cases I go immediately over here basically in the middle. Now that tank is... I thought that they were right behind that, but apparently they aren't, so I wasted my shot. Now the reload of this thing is a bit long. The T-62 I think has an auto-loader, not really sure. I think the T-62 has an auto-loader, I'm not entirely sure. But it does load a bit faster than the T-60, than the T-55A. That was a funny kill, not really sure how I managed to destroy that thing. Now the turret rotation is very similar to the turret rotation on T-54, although it feels a little bit faster, so the turret isn't really that slow. The T-54 turret is kind of slow. You have to rotate the whole tank with the turret, which honestly kind of is the same case with the T-55A, although it rotates just a little bit faster, which does make it feel more comfortable to use while on the move. Although it is still slow, not really that fast with its turret rotation speed, but it is also not bad, so we don't have to worry about that with this vehicle. Well, somehow that object wasn't able to penetrate. I expected to be dead, but okay, guess not. I will try to capture the base here. We will see how that will go. I also want to get more points, just to level this platoon up as quickly as possible. Now the APS does easily penetrate the T-54. And honestly, when you start with this vehicle for the very first time with the APDS, it does kind of feel like the T-54. I mean, they're very similar vehicles, honestly, they're very similar vehicles in performance. The only big difference would be the fact that you get better ammo down the road when you increase the rank level on this platoon. That's the main difference between the T-54 and the T-55A. I might switch to different ammo for this guy if this one doesn't kill him. Yeah, let's go into APC-BC. When APDS fails, APDS doesn't fail because it's just a different type of ammo, and yeah, much better damage when there is just a little bit of the tank visible. Now, let me see, what should I do next? Well, that's a T-54. I hit the engine and they are on fire, but let me try APC-BC if it's going to kill him. Well, it set him on fire, I guess, but didn't kill. It's fine. Not a good angle to kill a tank. I can technically shoot at the engine, and eventually it will burn down, but I kinda don't want to do that. Swapping to APDS because APC-BC is probably not going to be able to do much against the T-54. There we go. Nice. Well, let's go and capture some bases, I guess. There is this one, T-54, right in the ammo. And now let me capture the zone. It's been a pretty smooth match so far. Been a really smooth match so far, no complaints for me. Definitely feels like I'm playing better with the T-55A platoon than with the M60A1 platoon. I mean, the M60A1 is still a good tank, although for some reason, I don't know, when I go in one of these vehicles, I simply start to play much better for some reason. I can't really explain it. I noticed that with a lot of different vehicles in the past. And yeah, that was kinda lucky. Could have been destroyed right there because that's a T-10A. Now the T-10A has a better chance to destroy a T-55A than to destroy a T-54, because all you need to do is basically aim at the commander. If you have the AP or HE shell, just aim at the commander. With a good hit, the shell actually does ricochet off the interior of the commander's hatch and it goes down towards the crew, which then detonates and basically kills the whole crew. So can't really just rush forward and yeet against the T-10A. If it were a T-54, I would have been able to do it, but with this tank it's a bit difficult because it's tall and it's very easy to land a shell in its commander's hatch. So I'll just wait to see what the T-10A does. If they move, I'll probably have the first shell in. So I have to be careful with what I'm doing here. And it bounced. Somehow it bounced. Didn't do anything. Actually, it didn't really bounce, but that was very minimal damage. And it was a victory still. It was a pretty good match nonetheless. So not going to complain about that. That was a good match. Well, let's go to the next one. It is this map again. Okay, fair enough. Not complaining. I love this map. This tank can be used for close range and long range combat, although it kind of, no, this tank kind of prefers medium range combat because its turret doesn't really rotate that quickly. Medium range should be, I would say, optimal for this thing because, you know, of the turret. A more mobile vehicle, a more, let's say, mobile medium tank or a light tank can easily outmaneuver the T-55A, and that's why I'm saying that you should be relying on distance and cover when playing these vehicles. That's just how they work. Although when it does hit, when you do get the chance to shoot with this vehicle, it is very fun, honestly. This is the easiest, I mean literally like the easiest start that I've had in a while. The M60A1, definitely a good vehicle. Oh, a double kill, lovely. The T62, the M60A1 AOS, definitely a very nice vehicle, but it is kind of, well, not really clunky. I think the way how the tank is being driven is different. With the T55 and with the T62, I didn't really encounter the problem with the tanks not wanting to go left or right. With the M60, there is the problem where you try to go forward or backwards, but the driver misses the gear. Basically, you have to put the stick in the right spot. Basically, I know it sounds wrong, it sounds bad, it sounds lewd, I know, but I'm talking about the joystick there on the left side. You basically have to put it in a certain position, like literally, so that the tank switches to the reverse gear. With this tank, I had no issues with that. It just moves naturally. But with the M60, most of my fails come from the tank not wanting to move the way I want it to move. That's also something present on the Leopard. It's present on the M60, but it doesn't seem to be present on the T55 or the T6 or the T62. So immediately when I saw that, when I felt that I don't have a problem with that, then that's when I started to have a lot more fun with this vehicle. Now I don't know why that's the case. I think maybe it's just how the tank actually works in real life. Maybe that's the case. But the main problem with the M60 was the fact the tank doesn't move when you want it to move. Sometimes have to basically, like, you have to literally put the tank in reverse or in first gear, second gear. It's kind of crazy how that is. I did never expect that I'll have to learn where the gears are located on the tank, but I guess now I have to. Well, I had to do it since I'm already driving the M60A1 and M60A2. They're still good vehicles, but I don't really like the fact that I had to like literally learn where the gears are. Like it's funny because you can actually manually put the tank in first, second, third, fourth, sixth, and in reverse. Not really sure if that's intentional or not, but if it is intentional, then that's some very nice attention to detail there, not gonna lie. In any case, this was also a very smooth match. Very nice one. Very nice and a smooth match, not going to complain about that. So this was the T-55A. A very good tank, a very fun to drive tank, a smooth tank, and definitely a very nice upgrade over the T-54. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, and with that being said, I'll see you next time.